Hi, everybody. It's time for another edition of Playmakers. Coming up next, we've got Conor, Daly, Indy 500. Time is almost here. We're going to go racing, right? Gentlemen, start your engines. It's right here on Playmakers. Hi, I'm Dave Calabro, and I've covered some of the biggest moments in sports. But the stories that matter most are the ones that you rarely hear, because the game is decided long before the final whistle or the checkered flag. These are the people who make the big plays. Welcome to Playmakers. Brought to you by Indiana Members Credit Union.
This is Paul. He loves running, music, and DIY home projects. In fact, he's remodeling his kitchen thanks to a home equity line of credit from Indiana Members Credit Union. They connected him with a loan officer, got him approved at a great low rate, and made it easy for him to make his monthly payment from anywhere thanks to IMCU's digital banking. Looks like Paul can do it all with a little help from IMCU.
Hi, everybody. IBJ Media presents Playmakers. I'm Dave Calabro. We got a special guest. May is almost here. This is Conor Daly, man who needs no introduction. Hello, CD. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I really don't need an introduction. That's like, honestly, that means I've made it somewhere, I guess. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. I appreciate folks who actually who know who I am or know what I am.
Come on now. 12 Indy 500s, 8th last year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
6 is your best finish. We have 5. Oh, man.
Wow.
How about
Keep this
that?
In the episode.
It's my mom. Should we take the call from my mom? Sorry, Mom.
Dave Calabro, the media professional, gets a call while he's doing a podcast.
I know you got. Well, it makes for good television. Makes for good podcasting.
I love that.
Should we pick up or let's just keep going?
Just keep rolling.
Let's keep going because
this is my podcast. Mom. This is natural.
Does your mom call you in the middle of things?
Absolutely, all the time. Yeah, she might call me in the middle of this. Who knows?
Okay, so let's start at the beginning here. Dry and Reinbold, you were with them 2 years ago. You got a ride for this year's Indy 500. How fired up are you? Be back with the team that you know, guys you know.
Yeah, I mean, Dennis and the whole group up on the northwest side of Indianapolis, they are great people. And I mean, Dennis Reinbold has such a love for IndyCar. I mean, they only do the Indy 500, but I know that they've been dying inside to try to do more than that for a long time. But obviously, with the way the business works and the way the money is in the sport, it's tough to make that happen. But I do hope that they can get back there, and I believe that they're trying every day. But for showing up to do one event, it is a very large event, and you do the most work and the most development, and the most just, I guess, small things and detail-oriented work to prepare for this event. And they had a good shot at winning it last year with Ryan Hunter-Reay. We had a great car in 2024. We still finished in the top 10. We started 29th, finished 10th. But we had a broken left rear damper like the whole race. So like we were kind of a limping duck for a little while, but like the car was still very fast. So that's very important. And I personally have seen the work that they've done, and it's really impressive. So I can't wait to get going. I personally, it's really painful to not be full-time this year because of last year. That's like the truth of it is, when I was just doing the 500 before with them, I had come out of a bad situation anyway, and I was like, all right, the 500 is going to be awesome. Like, we'll focus on that. And this one is going to be awesome. But last year felt like I was really driving well for a small team with low resources and had got their best results ever. And now I'm like, dang, it's been painful to watch, but all that pain finally goes away when you get to get in the car again and focus on the goal of drinking the milk.
That's it. That's what the goal is all about, isn't it? You mentioned that about not having a full-time ride. What is it like going into May as a one-off team? You don't have all that experience leading up to it, man. That's pressure. Is that a lot of pressure?
It is, only because it's just, I mean, let's start with the good part about May is that we do actually have a lot of track time. True. Like if it was just the Indy 500 and we got carb day and we qualified on Saturday and then raced, much more difficult. But the fact that this event is so unique and you do get that week of practice and you do get these 2 days of testing at the end of April too, that type of stuff, it makes it possible for the one-off entries, and it makes that's actually part of the reason why people show up to be one-off entries, is because you do actually get 36 sets of tires to run through and 7 days of practice before you actually just qualify, and then you practice again. And so all of that stuff is the reason why this event is so special, and the reason why I think when you're on the grid of 33, you really do have a chance no matter where you start.
That's pretty fun. You're making me feel old, by the way. Sitting here talking to him like, God, I remember when Conor Daly was in Mama's belly. I remember back in the day when Derek Daly's his father was racing in the 500 back in the 80s, and your mom was wheeling around there. What's your first memory of being at the racetrack? Can you remember?
It's funny. I feel like I talked with a couple of drivers about this the other day, and I don't know if it's because we've hit walls before, but my memory is so spotty. Like I look back on things, and unless I see like a photograph, I'm like, I couldn't tell you what happened then or there. But I think my very first actual memory, and I've got more than this, I promise, but like it's got to be Racing Babies, which was underneath the Tower Terrace Suites. Christopher Goodyear, Scott Goodyear's son, was there with me. And we were just in this cement prison watching the race cars on TV, and
it was like a daycare.
Our parents were busy. Yeah, it was daycare for all the drivers, families and folks that worked at the track. And but I remember that so distinctly because I so badly just wanted to be outside, but like I was a child, right? Like and my parents are both working at the track. And so I do remember Racing Babies very vividly. And then it's what I do have as a very strong and positive memory was early mornings, just getting to the track and being ready to watch practice for qualifying, because I was still going to school, right? So like I was a young kid going to school, so I couldn't necessarily be there for the start of practice during the week, right? Because it started at noon, I assume, or at somewhat early. But when I could get to the track, I was there, and I would sit Tower Terrace Suites, because that's where my mom was working and managing those suites, and I would just sit in the front row, and I wouldn't leave the whole day. And I would get out my little, grid sheet with all the cars just to see who was doing what. And that's what makes the event so special for me and my family. And it's hard to believe that this will be my 13th. Because I don't want it to ever stop. I want to do 100 of them, but I don't know if my body will physically allow me to do that. But it's the greatest feeling that I've ever felt as a human being, is to show up at this track and to go out there and just, whether it's a practice day or race day, it's just the best thing ever.
It is so cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you weren't a snake pit guy?
No, I didn't. I didn't
hanging in turn 4.
I was a good kid growing up. Yeah. I didn't go to the snake pit once until I was actually a race car driver.
Well, then we won't tell my stories then.
Yours are probably exciting
too.
We
don't want to go there. You don't want to know my stories. I didn't really do that. Someone else.
Of course
did.
Not. Yeah.
Not me.
You're a respectable gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So then you got the bug to race, and you start karting. And what was that like? Did you become consumed by it then?
Yeah, I mean, you had
obviously
to be.
Having a father.
Yeah.
And mom totally into it.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to play other sports because I love sports. Like I still love sports today. Like if you offer me an opportunity to play whatever it is, even if I suck at it, like I will try to play sports, because like the competitiveness, playing football, like I love basketball. I'm an Indiana guy, right? So I have to love basketball. But I went to Indiana Basketball Academy for 3 years up there on the north side. Like I love that stuff. But once I got kind of into the go-karting scene, and thankfully we had great tracks here in Indiana, Whiteland Raceway Park, which is still there, Newcastle Motorsports Park, which was built like right after I started racing, and that's where Joseph Newgarden and I both started essentially. Mm-hmm. So we were lucky enough to have like 2 great tracks to learn on. But yeah, it got serious, when my dad handed me the mechanical engineering book when I was like 13. I was like, you got to read this and figure out, torsion bars and cambers and casters and what everything's doing with the wheels and the chassis. And so that became serious. But I mean, it consumes your whole life. But any athletes would say the same thing. Like if you're going to play basketball, you're probably in the gym all the time, from elementary school to high school to college. Like you just have to fully engulf your life in what you're doing. And that's what I did. And that's all I knew. Like, I didn't really get outside of like life or like get into life until I was like 23. And I was a rookie in IndyCar because all I was doing, and I was still focused on racing only, but I didn't get to go through the normal kid stuff. You know what I mean? I was only racing.
And it worked out well for you. You got
sometimes
5 top 10 finishes in the 500. You led over 80 some laps. And being on the microphone, and I say, Conor Daly has moved to position 1. He's in first, and you can hear the roar.
No,
Do you
I
realize
appreciate
what it's
it.
like when you're up front? Have you heard about that, about the crowd roaring, you being in first?
I mean, I see the videos,
yeah.
and it is the coolest thing ever. Especially the first time I took the lead in 2021, and I had a really rough time at the 500 for my first 4 years really, like 16, 17, well, no, all my first 4 500s were essentially useless, and just I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know what I needed to do. And I'm not really sure what changed, but obviously being in, a really good team like Andretti Autosport. 2019 was my first time where I really, I got to the front and I was there all day and we qualified well. And it is truly about the team working with the driver. And it didn't matter where I was before or what I had done before. All of a sudden now I was like, oh, this is an amazing group of people, an amazing team. And now I was a bit more free to be myself as a driver. And then I got to work with a lot of other great teams as I've been through the 500. Ed Carpenter Racing, as bad as that relationship ended up, they had really good race cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, so it was really fun to drive there. And then Dry Reinbold's been great. And honestly, JHR last year blew me away. They have not really done a ton on ovals before, and they gave me a car that we absolutely should have won that race in had we not had our issues on the second to last stop. So I don't know what it is about this race that took me so long to get it, but it is
a while to learn it, right?
It's very difficult. Yeah.
There's so much, as you said, it's such a team sport.
But it does mean a lot. Answering your question, leading the laps and actually, I feel like I've had, and I talked with Marco Andretti about this last weekend, oddly enough, but I was like, he's like, you should have won that race at least twice. I was like, thank you. I appreciate that. And I hate talking coulda, woulda, shouldas because everyone's got a bunch of those for racing, but we have legitimately, and I think other competitors as well have recognized that we've been up there with ease and it's been very competitive. But again, everything has to go right on that day. You either have to get really lucky or you have to get really lucky and you have the perfect day. And it's so hard to get both of those things locked down.
You being an Indiana kid, what would it mean to, I know this is the typical question, but what would it really mean to win, to drink the milk, take the victory lap? Have to be sober at the victory celebration.
I mean, it's the only thing that I live and breathe for, essentially, and it's such an amazing feeling just to show up there, and I'm very thankful to get to do it because it is like a truly unique opportunity to get to be a part of, and there's not a lot of people that get to say that they get to even do it, but even winners are even less. So, my motivation to just execute every day, be the best that I can be, and the results will follow. And honestly, I want to get to that point because I still want to do this full time. My whole goal is to be back here full time, to be doing this all the time, and to be doing it in a competitive situation and a group that believes in me, which is hard to come by these days. But it starts with one opportunity at a time, and the only opportunity I've got in front of me right now is the Indy 500. So I work on my body, work on my mind, get everything ready to where you can deliver on race day. But for me, I've also tried to not focus on win. It's just do everything right and just execute the process, and the results will come if you do the best job that you can do every day.
Yeah.
And the team does the same. It's a team effort.
Yeah, and mentally, the 500 can get in your head. I mean, I've watched that through the years. Drivers who've been able to perform in practice, and then you get into qualifying, but then you get to the whole race day situation, and it becomes too much. Is that part of the game? Trying to hey, yes, it's the Indy 500, but it is a race.
You know what's funny is I I love the race so much, and I've actually found it. I guess I've become so comfortable with the race and the car,
the grandeur of it all.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with it. Like, I cry every time, national anthem back home again in Indiana. I mean, I'm in bits because it's awesome and it feels amazing. But I guess I just love the process. Like, every day during practice, you have like near-death experiences, and you're like, oh man, that was tough, and like, man, this is really hard. And qualifying is really hard. Qualifying is annoying. I don't enjoy qualifying weekend. Just depending on when you go out on the day. It's just
got to be a mental stress.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, man.
I mean, you're just completely driving at the limit of life. And it's not the same in the race. Like, the race, you're all over the place on the steering wheel. You're doing all kinds of different work. There's just so many other things. And I love race day. And so the process of getting there, it actually excites me, because I think when it comes to race day, it's just your job with your engineer to put the puzzle pieces together. And I think I've just figured out over the years how to work with my engineers to put the right pieces in place to at least make it easier for me. It's not easy. It's never easy. But if I'm able to drive, this car that the team gives me, and it's what we've worked on all month and communicated, like, hey, this is what I want. Well, it's been consistently given to me now over the last few years, and it's been really nice to drive. And that was with 4 different teams or 3 different teams.
Yeah.
So I feel good about the process of getting there. And it's just a matter of, again, the first 70% of the race is just don't do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Don't do dumb stuff.
Be patient.
And avoid dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And once you kind of get to that back end of the race, it still is like, hey, you just, like, not to make it simple, but it's just no mistakes, be in the right place at the right time, and just beat the other guys. Like, that's all. Like, I've got to, like, it's just so funny. But at the end, you're like,
really?
Well, shoot, we're still in second or third. Like, this is all we got to beat is those guys. It's not to say it's simple, because it's really difficult. But if you just continue to put yourself in position to be successful, it does make it a little bit more of a simple equation. Now, again, we have to execute. So we'll see.
You mentioned near-death experience. You just kind of casually mentioned that. I don't think people realize what you guys do each and every day, just, practicing, let alone qualifying and race. Have you had some moments where you've gone, wow, this is a bit much?
It's the adrenaline rush that you get, and the speed that we're doing there is obviously very high. You know what I mean? We're up in the 240 mile an hour range. You're up in the, Scott McLaughlin's qualifying average was the fastest ever, or something like that. We are pushing the boundaries for sure, but that's what's awesome about IndyCar. Like, we shouldn't be going slower. Like, we should be pushing the boundaries of what humans are capable of, because our cars are very safe. Like they are, like IndyCar and Dalara have done such a great job making them safe. But like, the reason why I watched like the X Games growing up is because it's stuff that I can't do, and nor will ever be able to do. And like, when I saw Travis Pastrana do the first double backflip on a dirt bike, I'm like, are you kidding me? This guy is a psycho. And I feel like some of that is the same with us in IndyCar, because you have guys like Max Verstappen saying, oh, heck no, like, we wouldn't do that. Like, that's crazy.
True.
Because it is hard, and it is dangerous. And I don't want the danger level to ever go away, because then it wouldn't give you that rush. Then it wouldn't be like, you're not hugging your family extra tight before the race, because, like, again, we don't want to see anyone get injured ever. But it is an amazing experience to be like, hey, what we're doing here is pretty wild. And I think that, like, that type of gladiator style motorsport is so, it's just
Are you guys
more rare.
Adrenaline junkies?
Oh, for sure, a bunch of psychos. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
Have to have a bit of psycho.
I've been around the sport forever, and I'm like, I go out in a pace car with you guys, and just do back 140 or whatever, and it's like, that's enough for me.
And the crazy part is there are only 33 people that get to experience that level of, psychoticness on qualifying weekend, or 34, however many are trying to qualify. And so it really is hard to describe it to people, because, all of your nerve endings are on fire. Everything is just at its maximum of brain capability, physical capability. You're trusting this outside tires to hopefully, keep you there. And yeah, there's just so much into it that goes into it that I believe is still, I think a lot of people don't realize, and I hope that more people do. It's like, hey, this is actually pretty crazy, but it's awesome what we are capable of doing.
Race day. Everybody's got their own race day tradition. So you run to people every day, tell you about, I sit in turn 2, been doing it for 39 years, been, my family, my cousins. You have your race day traditions. You always show up on the stage at the Snake Pit.
Yeah. I love it.
That's pretty fun, isn't it?
I think I think I get judged for it really aggressively sometimes.
Why?
Because
you're not being serious?
Well, because a lot of the racing people love to judge people because they're not just sitting in a room with a clipboard. But for me, it's obviously it's worked out because we've finished pretty well the last few years, but I just love the adrenaline rush. It just gets you going. I mean, it also, for me, it gets your mind away from overthinking everything you could think of before the race.
Boom.
And I'm like, I'm going to have a great time for 20 minutes and get the adrenaline going a little bit, meet some people, talk about the 500, meet our talk to our fans, wave at our fans, do all this thing. And then I still have another hour to do absolutely nothing and continuously think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love excitement. I love kind of being free spirited and just enjoying life. And I think it's helped me be ready for the race because it's just, it takes away from the overthinking. It takes away from, stuff that could probably get into your head. So I enjoy it, and it's been a fun tradition, and get to meet a lot of cool people over there at the Snake Pit. And yeah, it's just unique.
Are you superstitious about
not really
race day and all that?
No. I mean, it if rain delay was weird. When we first got a rain delay in 2024, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was a very strange one because normally you're eating the same food at the same time, every race day. And the race is so early in the day, thankfully, you don't really have time to get into your day, but you're just racing. And then when the rain delay came, that was a weird one because it's do I eat again? And then it's what's happening here? And then, that was a strange one. So I hope we don't run into those very often. But yeah, it's not really something that I get superstitious about. I only ever get in the race car from the left side. I don't know why. I can only do that. It's literally impossible for me to get in the car from the right side. I stop. I freeze. I don't know how that works. So that's the only thing that I do that's super religious.
Well, that, and you made a lot of headways. Was that last year at the victory banquet celebration? You mentioned that you had peed in your race car.
I did pee myself.
You're the first guy to actually say it on camera.
Yeah.
We know
I
it
ain't
happens
scared.
a lot. Yeah. You're not scared, right?
I don't think it happens as much as you think it does. But yeah, again, a rain delay.
Yeah.
That's rain delay got me. Yeah. And it was cold.
Yeah.
Which normally we're sweating our butts off in these cars. And it was kind of chilly.
Yeah.
Which is great for the fans. It was awesome for everyone up there. But for us, it meant that we were not sweating as much as we were sitting in that car. And had to make a decision.
Couple more. Yeah, exactly. Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Had to make a choice.
I want to talk about ratings, growing the sport. I want to talk to you about bump day. First off, tell me about how important is it we have bumping? It's been a long tradition, the 500. We're sitting here in late April, and there's some talk that we may not have 34.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
Well,
not to put you on the spot. But
no, I mean,
it's a big topic.
I think because of the nature of the business and how difficult it is to show up, because you can't, no one shows up really anymore how you used to, where you just rolled the car out of the garage and jumped in it and see how fast you can go, maybe make the field. Even I remember early, mid 90s, even in the 90s, people had T cars and you'd roll out there and all that stuff, backup cars.
Yeah.
That's just not what happens anymore. Everyone is so close. If the pole speed is, 233.5, average, 231 is slow, and you're like, whoa, that's 2 mile an hour difference. But that's how close it is. And so, we saw it last year. If teams aren't able to fully, lock in and prepare and find that speed, it's hard to make any magic happen. And so sometimes, you just don't have it. And I just don't know if there's many teams that really want to show up, because it does cost a lot of money to be 35 or 36. Now, I still think that there is a massive reason to do it, because if you can prepare quick enough and long enough. I think this year was a bit of an anomaly with how Prema kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
And and obviously Colton Herta now can't do the race, because he was, obviously going to do that with Andretti in their fourth car. So I think this year is a bit of an anomaly, and I see that in the future, what we will have to worry about is 28 with the new car, obviously, because who all is going to buy the new car? We got to get people to buy it, right? And that's very important. But the 500 is still the 500, and you still can compete for the biggest prize in motorsport. And the maybe it's a prize money thing. Maybe the prize money is so worth it to where you have to show up, right? Like that's there's elements there that you have to talk about, but bumping is so important. I mean, it's I've had to fight my way in the field and feeling that feeling of making it. I mean, oh my gosh, it's the greatest thing ever. So I do love that. And, we see it in NASCAR with the Daytona 500, people making the race there. I mean, it's a huge deal to make the biggest show in your sport. And I mean, this show is the biggest show in motorsport. So it is special. And I think we need to have bumping for forever.
Yeah, I figured that out. The product you guys have on the track is amazing. It really, I think it's the best product in racing there is. And it's starting to grow, right? Would you say that the TV package, are we starting to attract a younger audience, you think?
I hope
More
so.
than of us old guys who've been doing this forever?
Yeah. No, I feel like I've seen, especially last year, I've seen a massive influx of youth, and that's awesome. I mean, it's not that anything about like having more senior race fans is bad, but like you do have to attract that next generation at some point. You do have to get the young people to want to show up to these events. And even at Arlington this year, the Arlington Grand Prix, a lot of young people, a lot of folks that just seem to be pumped to be there. And these are, can't miss events. And so far this season, I think, I've been in IndyCar now a long time, which is weird to say because I feel like I'm still a kid at times, but I've seen a lot of different eras of the sport now. I mean, I remember, when we were on Versus and there was all kinds of different TV packages and different channels you had to watch the race on, and smaller fields that you were looking, 18, 20 cars, 22 cars maybe. And, now it feels like what Fox has done, it feels like what the series has done, has finally taken like a pretty considerable jump forward in just consistent viewership. And I think that's what's most important is getting our consistent viewership number higher. Not like people accidentally tripping over an IndyCar race and be like, oh, this is cool. Like we want it to be, a known thing that, hey, we're racing this weekend and like you got to watch it. So I think Fox has done an amazing job, and the people there, and honestly, Roger Penske Entertainment, I think you have to give them credit too, because it's a team effort. It's not just one group; it's everyone trying to work together. And a lot of us drivers, I mean, we've given our opinions very aggressively for so many years, but it's not easy. It's not easy to fix. Since the split, right, and since the reunification of the sport. That's not super long ago now. And I thought it would take 10 years. Maybe it'll take 15, 20 years, whatever it is. But it's working now. And so this is just something that you have to keep up, though. We have to keep this momentum going. We have to keep delivering to people because everyone's attention spans are very short. So you got to keep them locked in.
For sure. And your stepfather, Doug Bowles, seems like his team, I know he's always been great about listening to the fans and listening to the drivers, and I think that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
The feedback, you know what I mean? And take the feedback from the drivers that are in there and know the game, and to help push this sport forward.
I think a lot of us as drivers think it's easier than it is, but it's not. It's such a difficult game. It's like all the people on the internet that think driving is easy and IndyCar is easy and ovals are easy. It's like, well, that couldn't be dumber if you ever have said that. So I know there's so many elements to it, and I know a lot of it's financial, and I know a lot of it is, political and this, that, whatever, and all kinds of different ways to achieve viewership and achieve, I guess, eyes on the sport. But there are certain elements that I feel like we've easily missed on for a while, and now it feels like all of those elements are getting at least attention from the driver's perspective. Like we see it. But it does take us too as drivers to work with the series. Like we can't just be like sitting on our butts like, oh no, like you guys got to do it. It's like, no, it takes the drivers too. There's a reason why Formula One gets all of their drivers to do, or most of them at least, to do Drive to Survive. It's because guess what? That launched them into a stratosphere that they've never been in before.
Yeah, true.
And they're getting their major personalities to sit down in front of the camera, to have cameras follow them onto their yachts in Monaco. And I'm like, I see some of our drivers like object to doing things, like the 100 Days to Indy show or certain things like that. I'm like, you guys got to stop that. We got to let every type of camera in and around us just so we can build more personality, build fan bases, because people are craving content 24/7.
For sure. Speaking of content, you've got your own podcast.
I do, yeah.
It's pretty cool with like 11,000 subscribers, I saw.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know. There is a YouTube channel. It's Conor Daly 22 if you want to look at it. Yeah. That's where it is, but it's also on Apple and Spotify, and Dirty Mo Media is our owner, which is Dale Earnhardt Jr. obviously. So that's super cool to be under his banner. But I've been doing it now for 5 years, maybe 6 years, and it's just kind of been a side project of mine. But again, I love IndyCar, and I'm trying my best to give our fans and the folks that love our sport like another bit of information that they didn't know, because there's so much about our sport that people don't know. So much. And if you just watch cars, do circles on television on the weekends or road and street courses, whatever it is, well, how do we get there? What's done to make, like, why did the 12 car win this weekend? Why did the 20 car suck this weekend? Why did the 10 car win 5 races in a row? Like, why did that happen? There's always more than just like, well, that guy did better than the other guy. It's like, well, no, that team did this, that driver did this with the team, this person. So I think there's so much more to give the fan base, and I'm just trying to present it in a way that might be listenable.
Yeah, it's very and relatable. I watched a couple of them. That's the first thing I thought of. So, how do people follow you during May at the track? You're going to be in the 23 car, right?
Yep. So
is it going to be pretty?
It will be good. It will be a good-looking car. It'll be out there very soon. Arco and Kingspan are on our car, and Arco's been with me now for this is our year 2 together. Kingspan was brought by the team, and they did that deal together, so I'm super thrilled to have a team that has got a big sponsor on board as well. So this team is done a great job, and honestly, Jack Harvey is my teammate's really cool too. Jack Harvey is a guy that I've known for a very long time. We were teammates in 2013 in F3. Which is crazy. Wow. And so, yeah, it'll be a fun one. Obviously, Conor Daly 22 on all my socials. The podcast is Speed Street. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple, Spotify, wherever you can consume a podcast, essentially. But, yeah, we're going to have, hopefully, a great month of May.
Well, thanks for the time, man. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Conor Daly right here Appreciate on Playmakers by IBJ Media. Thank you to them. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for watching and listening to Playmakers, brought to you by IBJ Media. I'm Dave Calabro. I hope you'll subscribe on YouTube or wherever else you get your podcast. Until next time, we'll see you later.